So we were able to create this in the previous video, and we said the button doesn't do anything and the panel is kind of invisible right now. It's not invisible, but it doesn't have anything to show on the panel. And then my frame is here. Now when I click this X, it should close everything, but in fact it's still running right here, and I have to quit this manually every time. The solution to this is by setting the default close operation for the frame. And we do this by saying frame, which is the name of my frame, dot set default close operation. And the default close operation is going to be jframe dot exit on close. So if I just save this, now if I run it, this still doesn't do anything, but see this. It closes everything and it turns off everything. Now what I need to do is I need to make sure that when I click the button something happens. And to be able to do this, I will need to implement what we call the ActionListener interface. So I'll say implements ActionListener, and then I will need to import ActionListener, and this is going to be imported by saying import java.awt.event.actionListener. And when I import the ActionListener, it's going to give me an error here because it's saying that I need to implement the method. Now the method is called actionPerform. Then I can just click here and it's going to put it down, and it's right here. So what I need to happen is when I click the button, I need the label to change whatever text is displayed on it. And I can do this easily by saying label.setText, and I'll give it any string as the text. So I'll say hello world and save this. Now even if I run it and I go and try to click the button, nothing is happening. The reason is because the button does not know that it has to call this method every time it's called, or it's clicked, sorry. So what I need to do is I need to tell the button every time you get clicked, you need to call this. So what I will do is I will go here in my constructor where I created everything, and I will say, okay, somewhere here after my button, I will say button dot add action listener, and the action listener is going to be this. So when I say add action listener this, it means every time the button gets clicked, it's going to call this method. And let me save this and run it. And now when I click on say hello, I see hello world here. Now in the previous example you have seen that this was down here and the label was not at the very top. This is done by calling the set location functionality and providing it with X and Y. Let me just close this. But this is where Windowbuilder in Eclipse comes in handy. Because remember, you are going to be dealing with pixel by pixel. So it is going to be tedious to write numbers, test it on, write numbers, test it on. What I would like to do is I will go and open up this with Windowbuilder and go to design. And recall before I wasn't able to run design, but then when I just created those components, it worked right away. So this sometimes is a downside of Windowbuilder, but it's very, very helpful. Now if you want to be able to move your components however you would like, you will just click on the panel here, which is inside the frame. And by the way, when you click on any component, you can add things to it, and you will see those things change in code. So let's start with the frame and then we'll get to that. So for the frame, you can change the exit on close here. If you don't want to type it on, you can just default close operation. You can choose one of those, hide or exit or do nothing or dispose. And you can also check for icons or anything that you want. One of the things that is useful is the title. So I can say hello world, and now this should say hello world. And where is that coming from? If I go back to my source, see this frame hello world that set title is hello world. So it is going to write some code for you to save you some time. It is always a good idea to know how this code is written. In case you don't have Windowbuilder, you can just go ahead and build your application. Now for the panel, if I try to move this, it's not gonna move right now because I need to put what we call an absolute layout in the panel. So I'll click on the panel and go here for absolute layout, click it, place it on the panel, and now I will be able to move my components however I'd like. And if I run this now, after saving, you'll see that my button got placed in the place that I wanted. And I can do the same thing with the labels with every single component in my application.